Hello guys, this is Cesar Creates and welcome back to my channel! And welcome back to the Elm Hill City Zoo after a small Christmas break. The Christmas time this year was pretty intensive for me, that's why I didn't have time to record too many videos during this time. Building this habitat and, recording and editing this video took me such a long time because I was able to play only like half an hour a day or something. So yeah, I was building this habitat today for several evenings, and this habitat is obviously for the European Fallow Deer. The fallow deer is one of the new animals added to the Planet Zoo with the new Euro pack, and this is one of my favorites actually. At first, when all the animals were announced, I was a little disappointed that we don't get the red deer because I feel like it is more like iconic and known animal when you think about European animals than the fallow deer, but when I saw the model of the fallow deer when it was first announced on the Planet Zoo social media, I was just a bit breathless because I was so amazed with how beautiful it looks, and it certainly looks that way in the game. So yeah, I love the fallow deer. I love that we are getting new ungulates to the game because I think that they are the most, one of the most at least, common animals in zoos. They are quite easy to take care of, so they are very common in zoos. There are always a lot of species of different ungulates in all of the zoos, so I always love when they are added because I think that we need a big variety of those animals in our game. Even though I had a little break from Planet Zoo, I am still very much in love with the new pack. The new building pieces are just amazing, and I will try to showcase them a lot in this video today, as well as some new foliage that we got, so you'll be able to see a lot of those things today in the video. So as you guys could see, I started today's video with adding the path, and now we actually have the path connecting to the other part of the zoo, so now the guests can go round finally, and our little temperate taiga animal area is coming along quite nicely. I will show you guys in the cinematics at the end of this video some shots from above so you can see that. I think that this fallow deer habitat fits to this area so nicely that I love how this part of the zoo is coming along, and I think that adding some more animals in the future in the next episodes will make it even more nice. So yeah, I am very excited for this. After the path, I started to build a fence, as you could see. This is actually, I think, my favorite fence, like custom fence that I've built ever in this game, because I was finally able to use more of those generic metal pieces because we got so many of them with the new pack. So I used a lot of different small metal beams and our mesh pieces that we got some time ago to the game, some plaster, and also I added those decals so it looks a bit worn out, like it's been there for a lot of time, it's been kicked by the gas and so on. And in the end, I think it looks super amazing, just like a regular fence you would see in every zoo, but this is what I want to achieve, and how I want this zoo to look like a typical city zoo, and this kind of fence is definitely very typical for this type of the zoos. This was inspired by a photo that I saw on Pinterest. That was actually a photo of the fallow deer habitat in some zoo, I cannot remember, but yeah, I copied a bit this fence, and I am very happy with how it is looking. When it comes to the Christmas, you guys probably noticed that I wasn't so active on my social media, on my Discord, here on YouTube and so on, because it was, as I told you, a bit intense for me. I had to visit several members of my family. I had to prepare, I had to buy gifts, I also had a bit of work. So I didn't have time to play, I was tired in the evening, so I kind of took a break from YouTube, but now I am back with this video, and I am sure that I think next week we'll have a lot of more, so definitely stay tuned. Another thing when it comes to the Christmas, I got the most amazing gift from the Frontier. I showcased it on my social media and here on YouTube in my social tab, so if you haven't seen it, definitely go and do so, because I got this wonderful Christmas ornament. It was so nice, so thank you Frontier for that. I really appreciate it. This is the second gift that I got this month, and yeah, I simply cannot believe it. So this was the first Christmas gift that I wanted to tell you guys about, and there's also a second one, and the second one that I got for Christmas this year is a new monitor for my computer, so I'm getting more and more professional when it comes to recording those videos, because now I have two monitors and it's so much easier to do it. I finally have like a proper setup for my desk, for my office. So now I can play the game on one monitor and I can have like a recording program open on the second one, so I can see if it is recording, because I had some situations where I, for example, was building for a half an hour or something, and then I realized that I didn't hit the record button and it wasn't recording at all, but now I won't make that mistake again. And also I now see how much time I already record, so it is so much easier to keep an eye on timing, and also it helps with all the editing, recording those voiceovers and so on. It is so much easier now, so thanks to my family. This is amazing. But because of the new monitor, I had certain issues with colors. I don't know why, but this new monitor has a very saturated colors. I tried to fix it a bit. I wasn't quite successful with it. I don't know why. I think I need to do like a calibration or something, but I tried changing like my graphic cards options, but what it did was actually what I saw on my screen was quite nice. I liked the colors, but the game recorded like in a default colors, but even less saturated, because I changed that option in my graphic cards. So that's why in some parts of this video the colors will be looking a bit weird. I apologize for that. This is me just trying to figure out how to change those colors, because when I first launched the game, I was like, oh my god, why this game is looking so oversaturated? I don't like those colors, let me fix it, how to fix it. And I tried to do something, and it didn't work quite well. It worked for like my eye, because for me now it's better, but it doesn't look as good as it used to on the recorded footage, so I will have to figure it out in the future, and I hope that I will fix it. I am very hopeful. So while I was talking, I already did the shape of this habitat. This was actually not inspired by anything. I just went through some of the fallow deer's habitats in zoos, and I noticed that they're not too interesting. There's not a lot of foliage, because they simply eat all the plants that are in there, because they live in a closed space, so the plants don't have a chance to grow there because they'll simply eat them. Of course, we'll add some just for looks of it, but it won't be too crazy. And I also had like a wall, concrete wall, like planter or something on my inspiration board on Pinterest. So I decided to use it here because I really love this new plant, this ivy or something, and I wanted to use it here. And I think that you know, this planter or something made of the mesh looks so wonderful in here. And this plant is beautiful as a creeping plant, so I am very like happy with this wall in the background. I think it creates a very nice background for this whole habitat, and I am very happy that I was able to come up with something like this. As I told you guys, this habitat will be quite simple. There will not be a lot of grass. I still wanted to have like a elevation of the terrain so it doesn't look so flat. Before doing this concrete wall, I also used some new wooden pieces. I think that this piece is used for creating bridges, but I used it as a part of the wooden barrier, and I think it looks really cool. Like that, I also added a path for keepers, but I skipped this part because it was a lot of adjusting, you know, making sure the terrain is flat and deleting trees and so on. So I didn't include it in the footage because it wasn't like interesting at all. After that, I started to work on a custom feeder. There will be actually, I think, 3 custom feeders in this habitat and 1 water trough. So that's a lot of small, you know, but I am not too happy with the feeders that we have in game. Of course, I will add them because the animals simply have to eat. So as you can see, I will start with building like a typical deer feeder that is so common in forests in my country, in Poland. When you go for a walk to the forest, you can find those. Those are built by the forest guards who feed those animals during winter. So they are very typical in our forests, and I wanted to add something like that. So I've built one very quickly here. I also added a bit of this African grass inside as a, you know, hay or something, a food simply for animals, and I think it looks quite nice. Of course, from up close it looks a bit weird, but from the distance I think it does the job. So yeah, I'm very happy with that. The second feeder you are able to see right now is on like suspended on the wall. This is also very typical ungulate feeder, made from like small metal rods, so I used the new cables for that, and I also really enjoy that one. And the third one will be in the shelter. We'll build it on the later stage, when we'll build the shelter and the backstage area for this habitat. I know it may seem like a lot of feeders for one habitat, but those animals are actually given a lot of different foods. It is hay, it is fruit, it is, you know, different kind of plants and branches. So I decided that I will add 3 of them, so they can have, you know, different one for every kind of food. Also, this typical deer feeder is a bit of a decoration also for this habitat, I feel like. So not only it is a feeder, it is also something nice for the guest's eye, and it looks so cool on the shots of this habitat in this little forest for them. So if you want to see, definitely stay tuned till the end of this video. When it comes to the fallow deer, this animal is so typical for my country. They are living in our forests, maybe not in the region where I live, but in more mountainy, in a central part of Poland and so on. I saw them so many times in zoos, but we also have a lot of those national reserves where you can go for a walk, and sometimes there are some pens with animals that are injured, for example, and are reintroduced back to the wild, or just are cannot be released to the wild because they depend too much on humans, so you can go and see them. And also a lot of people actually breed the fallow deers here. They have their own like ranches or something like that. They have cows, horses, and a pen with fallow deers, especially in Polish mountains. So my friends actually live in Polish mountains, and their neighbor has fallow deers in their backyard. So this is really cool. So every time I visit my friends in the Polish mountains, I go to this neighbor to watch the fallow deers, and they are really beautiful. But also what I noticed there, he has like, I don't know, 20 of them, I think. And they are this is a mix of males and females. So I think that those guys can live in more mixed herds. There's, for example, a dominant male. I think that next time I will actually ask because in Planet Zoo we only can have one male, and like the rest of them need to be females because otherwise the males will fight. But in this pen there are for sure more males, so this is quite interesting. The males in the game are really beautiful, so I would love to have more of them in one enclosure, just more mixed herd. I know I can switch off the fighting and so on, but still I always add the ratio of the animals that is recommended by the Zoopedia, and I try to stick to that. So I also noticed two like funny, not funny things with fallow deers as a Polish guy. So actually the Latin name for the fallow deer is Dama Dama, and in Polish it basically means lady. So that's a bit weird. I don't know why, but yeah. Yeah, this deer is basically a lady, which for a Polish guy can be a little bit confusing. Also, in Polish, the fallow deer is called Daniel, which is really like weird because Daniel is a guy's name. Also in Polish, it is a common name given to a guy. This is also a common name abroad. For example, you have this actor who played James Bond, Daniel Craig. So in Polish, the fallow deer is Daniel. I don't know why, maybe I should check it, but yeah, we call this deer by the name of a guy, Daniel. So yeah, quite weird. I don't know why, but that's the only animal I think that we have in Poland that we call by the name of a person. This is, as I told you guys, quite weird. So yeah, basically you have a Daniel who is a lady, and this can be quite confusing, but in English they have it right, the European Fallow Deer, and there is no confusion. So yeah, Polish people can sometimes be a bit weird with naming stuff, but that's just one of the examples. So while I was talking, I already started to add plants and rocks to this habitat. I also did a holding pen, which is always very useful for the keepers. The animals can be separated, they can be closed in there. They also can hide there if they are shy, if they want to not be on, if it's open basically, and they don't want to be, watched by guests, they can go there. I added this green fabric around the whole holding pen. This is also very common in zoos. You just surround the parts that the guests shouldn't see with this fabric in green color or different color basically, that helps the animals to be more private, to have more privacy, so it is always good for them if they don't want to be in the spotlight all of the time. When it comes to plants, foliage, trees, I try to add a lot of new ones to this habitat. So I added the new trees, I think this new oak tree and also this London something tree, I don't remember the name. Also those animals like to eat bark from the trees, and they also like to scratch against the trees, so I had to add the protections for them not to destroy the trees in their habitats. Basically, they won't do it in the game, but I want to be realistic when I play this game, so I added those protections. I made them from those new small iron like beams and the mesh pieces, and I think that they look very, very cool. Also, I added a lot of small rocks, a lot of, some bigger ones, this huge log in the center just as a focal point for this habitat. I always love adding this log, and I hope that we have more in the future because this is very, very cool. I know that we have those dead trees, I always added them. I also added the new branches that are just spectacular. I love them. I think that they make the enclosures look more realistic thanks to them. You always have some branches that fallen off the trees or something, or branches for animals to graze on and do their thing. So this is basically what I added to this habitat. I wanted to keep it simple, as I told you guys at the beginning. The fallow deer's habitats in zoos are very often quite simple. They are also a bit small. I wanted to give them a big one. But yeah, if you remember our pronghorn antelope habitats in this zoo, this one is quite similar to that one. And I actually wanted it to be similar because, it is not too far from this habitat, so it basically makes sense. When you go to the zoo, not all of the habitats look like totally different. They are not in different style, or they don't look like from different parts of the world or something. That's why I wanted actually to make it a bit similar, but not identical, of course. So there are some unique pieces like this concrete wall, a bit different shelter, obviously a bit different fence, but the shape and the whole idea about this habitat is very, very similar. So I think it is a perfect time to give you guys some fun facts about the fallow deer. So the fallow deer is native to the Southwest Asia, and later they spread to the Mediterranean region. Then the Normans introduced them to England. Now they are spread all over the world. They live obviously in Europe, also in Asia, in South Africa, even on Madagascar. They live in England, they live in Australia, and also in USA, obviously there are a lot of them there. So yeah, they have been introduced to the whole world, and this is because of their ability to adapt to different habitats. They live anywhere in grassy areas, woodlands, mixed woodlands, forests, but also savannas. The male deers become territorial during the rooting or breeding season in October. The males are living solitary, whereas the young and females live in herds of their own. Only the fallow deer stack has the antlers. The antlers are shaped like shovels and are quite large. The coat of deer differs in color, and depending on the fallow deer colors, they are assigned different names as well. They can be brown with white spots and white colored tail. They can be pale brown, but also they can be black or dark. Or even white, and we have actually those colors in the game. We can have white one, the albino one, or the melanistic one, which is the black one, which is so cool. I actually didn't have a chance to get any of those in my sandbox park, but when I will add them to our Moss Valley Park in the franchise mode series, I hope that we'll be able to buy some of those morphs, because I really love the black one. I think it looks so cool. The males shed their antlers in the months of April and May. The regrowth and cleaning of the antlers is complete by August or September. The regrown antlers have the same pattern as the ones that are shed. So this is basically a difference between the horns and the antlers. The antlers are shed once a year by the males, for example the deers, the moose, or the fallow deers, or so on, and the horns are never shed by the animals. If the animal loses the horn, it actually won't regrow or something like this. So for example, antelopes, they have horns and they don't shed them, they are growing throughout their lives. So that's the difference. If someone wondered what's the difference between the antlers and horns. So as you guys can see, I started to work on the shelter for those guys, and let me just tell you that I created like 4 or 5 stalls for them, and I had to change my idea completely because they didn't fit in there. So it was a pity. You will see me building 4 of them, and in the cinematic shots there will be only 3, and they will be able to use 2 of them, but they will be bigger and there will be less entrances. I was so angry because I love the original build and original appearance with those small entrances with 4 doors, but I had to change that, unfortunately. I was quite surprised because I learned that those African doors that I like to use for the shelters or for doors and something are now recolorable. I was quite surprised. I didn't know about it. I think I missed it, or it was introduced with a new update, but yeah, you can now change the color of the planks, and this is so helpful and so useful, so I will be using them even more in the future for sure. So yeah, as you can see, I added those sliding doors where the animals can enter their stalls inside their shelter. I also did some, decoration on the wall using different colors, and I added those decal pieces which are just amazing, and now I want to add them to, all the Elm Hill City Zoo because I think it looks like it makes the buildings look so realistic and nice that I will for sure be adding them a lot of times and to all the new buildings because I just simply love them, and the variety of them is just simply amazing. So yeah, you'll be able to see me adding them here quite a lot actually. So inside there will be stalls, as I told you guys. They'll be divided by a low concrete wall that I will add some plaster pieces in green color too. So I always like to add green colors inside of the shelters of animals because I read somewhere that the red color makes them more calm, because simply it reminds them of plants and foliage and so on, so they are calmer with green colors. So that's why I always try to add something green like walls and things like this. So I will also divide those stalls with mesh pieces. I will do a small mesh by myself with using a lot of bigger mesh pieces. You will see that. And also I will add entrances to each of the stalls. Of course they are not usable by the staff, but the staff will be able to enter one of those, and through the stall they will be able to have access to the entire habitat. Inside there will also be another type of feeder. This one will be suspended on the wall, and this is the feeder that will be used when the animals are basically closed down in the shelter. I will also add a water dispenser that we already built and used so many times in here. Something very realistic and something used inside of the shelters like this, the animals simply have to use their nose or tongue to like push the button and then the water flows. This is really common in, for example, horse stables and cow pens and things like that. So yeah, a typical ungulate shelter. After that, I will add some details to the part where the keepers will have access to. So there will be like a storage of hay, there will be also a window, so there is some light inside of this shelter. I will also add some crates with food, for example, and things like that, some vents for ventilation, because it is really important to have a good ventilation inside of those shelters for animals. And after that, I will add basically the invisible barrier around the habitat and enrichment items for animals and feeders and this ugly water pipe that I have to use, but I wish that we had something different. And I am always, with every update, I am always expecting them to add things like different, like food troughs, like water troughs and things like that, but we still don't have them. But I wish that we had more options to choose from. When it comes to the enrichment items, I am not a huge fan of this new Scarecrow Feeder. I think it's totally unrealistic to have something like this in the zoo. Maybe as a one type of event or something, but I don't think that zoos use things like that too often. I would prefer to have, for example, a salt lick, which is so like common with ungulates. They love to eat salt, and they basically do it to to consume the minerals and things like that. So this is really common to have like salt licks in ungulate habitats, but no, we don't have those in the game. Instead, we have a scarecrow, which is a bit funny. But yeah, this is basically all that I have for you today, guys. I want to do area around the habitat. I will do it off camera, so you will have to see it in the cinematic shots by the end of this video, the whole finished area with the finished habitat. So definitely stay tuned till the end to see it. There won't be anything like on the other half of the path, because we'll feel it in the future when we'll add new habitats and areas. I want to have a restaurant in this area because we are so lacking the new restaurants in here. We only have one for the entire zoo, and I think that we finally need to add some more. So thank you guys for watching. This is basically it. If you have enjoyed the video, please consider to subscribe to my channel. This would really mean a world to me. Your support is so amazing for me and very meaningful. So if you want to subscribe and click that button, this would be just amazing. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up down below, ring the bell if you want to be notified every time I upload a new video, and comment down below if you enjoyed this video or if you have any more recommendations for our future episodes. Thank you guys for watching, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!
fun.